raising kid challenges with practical advice and honest conversation. I'm Curtis.
And I'm RJ. So, Curtis, let's start today's episode. And this one may be a bit taboo for the parents out there. Have you checked your kids' search history or even screen time lately?
Actually, you know what? It's pretty funny. I think every parent listening just felt their heart rate jump a little bit because it is kind of a little bit strange sometimes how much kids are actually using their phone. Probably remember kids who used to watch a lot of TV, so now it's phone use, right?
Yep, exactly. And we don't know exactly what's going on when they're on their devices, right?
Yep.
So a few weeks ago, a friend of mine walked into his 11-year-old's room. His son was sitting at his desk, supposed to be writing a book report on the bridge to Terabithia or something like that. But instead of turning pages, he was chatting with a chatbot saying, "Write a 3-paragraph summary of chapter 4 that sounds like a fifth grader wrote
Wow, that sounds like a fifth grader wrote that one. He was
it."
already prompt engineering. Go look at that, eh?
Exactly. And this parent stood in the doorway asking the exact questions millions of families have been asking right now. Is artificial intelligence helping our kids thrive, or is it secretly robbing them of the ability to think for themselves?
Yeah, that's the question for the decade, RJ. AI is writing essays, solving math equations, generating art, and even offering emotional advice on some social media apps. Today, we're going to unpack both sides. We'll share real life stories from the home front and the hidden risks every parent needs to watch for, and 5 concrete family rules that you can follow. You can put in place tonight so your kids stay smart, safe, and human in an AI driven world.
Yep. Grab your coffee, parents. This is going to be a good one.
Why?
So let's dive
I
in.
will. All right, little coffee sip there, guys. All right, RJ, before we get into the good and the bad, let's dispel a huge myth. A lot of parents still think AI is futuristic, sci fi concept that's only tech labs or high school computer classes.
Yeah, and which couldn't be further from the truth, right? If your child owns a tablet, plays video games, or watches YouTube, they've been interacting with AI for years.
Yep, just think about it. Recommendation algorithm when YouTube or TikTok feed your kids with video after video tailored exactly to their interests, that's machine learning.
Hmm.
Smart assistants when they ask Alexa or Siri to play music or solve a riddle. Probably did this before too, right? Siri
Yep.
stuff or whatever. Okay, so what about video games? Non-player characters, NPCs as they call them, in games like Minecraft, Roblox, or Fortnite are powered by AI to react to what your kid does. Social media features such as Snapchat introduce My AI, a chat bot pinned right to the top of the kids' friends list. Kind of
So
interesting, right?
AI, their chatbot is their friend, right? That
Yep.
Snapchat one blew my mind recently. A parent in our community told us a 12-year-old was spending 2 hours every evening talking to her AI bot.
Oh well.
She wasn't just asking it homework questions though. She was asking it stuff like, why does my best friend seem mad at me today? Or what outfit should I wear tomorrow? Right? So just generic life questions.
Yep. Yep. That's right. That's a classic example of how quietly this technology is slipping into our homes. It's no longer just a calculator or Google search. It's taking on the role of a companion.
Yeah, and there's why we just can't ban it or pretend it doesn't exist, right? They're
Yep.
trying to keep AI away from kids today. It's like trying to keep them from using the internet 25 years ago. The goal isn't prohibition, but it is guidance, right? This is what we got to
Yep.
think about.
That's right, RJ. Let's talk about the bright side first, because AI isn't all doom and gloom. When used intentionally, AI can actually be one of the most remarkable learning tools ever created.
So, give an example, Curtis, of what that looks like in
Sure.
real life. In real life.
Yeah, no problem. So let's take personalized learning in a classroom of 20 or 30 kids. A teacher has to teach at one general pace, but every child does learn differently, as we know this.
Mhm.
Imagine a sixth grader named Marcus who is struggling with word problems and math involving fractions. Traditionally, Marcus would get frustrated, shut his textbook, and by dinner time, homework turns into a screaming match between him and his parents.
Yep, I've been there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so By now, picture markers using an AI tool properly. Instead of asking for the answer, markers inputs. I'm in sixth grade and I don't understand how to divide fractions. I love basketball. Can you explain dividing fractions using a basketball analogy, which is pretty cool, right? So it's relatable to the kid. So suddenly, AI explains fractions using free throw percentages and quarters on a basketball court. It adapts his brain at his pace without ever getting impatient or making him feel embarrassed for asking dumb questions. So it's pretty logical, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's huge, right? Especially for
Mhm.
kids with learning disabilities like aged ADHD,
Yep.
dyslexia, or functioning challenges, right? I've used this myself. I actually have AI tutors, I have them teaching me what's that money, like the crypto yeah, cryptocurrency and
Yep.
affiliate marketing, right? So this
Yep.
it's a possibility where AI can actually teach them, help them learn. I talked to a mom last month whose son had dyslexia. Reading dense history textbooks almost impossible, right? It would take
Yep.
2 hours to get through a few pages. So she taught him to upload his history chapter into an AI tool and prompt it to generate an audio summary, break the chapter into bullet points, and create a 5-question pop quiz to test his memory.
Oh,
So that
nice.
breaking it down, we know AI can do summaries, right? So breaking
Yep.
it down into a more meaningful format.
Yep. Excellent. That's a pretty good idea there, RJ. So completely level. So what it does? It completely levels the playing field for him, and it transform and AI is transformable for each student to have a shortcut and to be accessed tools, right? To make them
Mhm.
help them learn better, right?
Yeah, and let's not forget the creativity either, right? A lot of
Yep.
people think AI kills human imagination, but it actually can spark it, right?
Yeah, right on.
Kids today are using AI to do things like brainstorm,
Yep.
plot twists for creative writing, compose background music for video projects, or even generate visual contents for specific, science fairs, things like that.
Nice. Yep. The key phrase there is creative teammate. The kid is still the director, the writer, and the visionary. The AI is just assistant them, handing them the paintbrush.
Mhm. All right, Curtis, we've covered the sunshine and rainbows so far, but as parents, we
Yep.
know every powerful tool comes with real risks, right? What happens when AI goes off the rails?
Well, the biggest risk right now is being summed up in three words: the cognitive shortcut. When learning gets hard, human brains naturally take the path of least resistance, as we know. Learning actually requires struggle. When a kid struggles with math problem or an essay outline, that struggle builds neutral pathways, critical thinking, and mental
Mhm. If a
resilience.
child bypasses that struggle every single time by hitting generate answer, what happens, right? The critical thinking muscles atrophy.
Exactly, RJ. Let's share a story that happened in eighth grade science class recently. A student was taking a writing report on a renewable energy. He asked AI model to write the whole paper, copy and paste it, and submit it without reading it. Not so smart. Um, here's the catch: the AI hallucinated. It completely made up a fake scientific law and cited a non existent study from a fake university.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah. My sister works in the schools, and she sees a lot of this when some of her students she has, and it's true. Some people don't read
Yep.
anything, and the teachers know that kids don't have a certain, I guess, like writing ability or certain aspects of them, and they know the kids. So when they hand in AI generated content, they know it's not from them. It's AI, and a lot of them will get zeros because of that,
Yep.
because schools are pretty strict now. So obviously he got an F on that mark. Called his parents. The real tragedy wasn't the bad grade. It was that when the parents asked the boy to explain what renewable energy was, he couldn't even answer the basic question. He had he had turnkey output without any actual learning.
Right. Yep. This happens. Again, I've used AI for some of my content, right? But
Yep.
I proofread everything. Why? Because I've learned the concepts. And if something doesn't make sense, you eliminate. And I have caught AI making a lot of mistakes too. So you
Hmm.
do have to proofread or look into what you created through AI.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yep. Yep.
This leads right into our major second concern,
Right.
which is hallucination or misinformation for
Mhm.
kids, right? Kids tend to they view computers as absolute authority figures, right? And if the screen says it, they believe it. So teaching kids that AI can and often does lie with total confidence is critical lesson.
Yep. There's also a little disclaimer on each of the AI models out there that say it can make mistakes, right?
Yep.
Which is true. So something a little disclaimer on the actual AI models they have out there. So let's move into the third thing we need to talk about today: emotional dependency and privacy. Earlier, we mentioned kids using chatbots as pseudo friends or therapists. While AI can simulate empathy, it's not feel empathy. It doesn't have moral values, real experiences, or genuine affection. When a child starts turning to algorithm for comfort or validation instead of parents, teachers, or real peers, they miss out on developing authentic human social skills, conflict resolution, and emotional resilience.
Plus the privacy, right?
Yep.
Parents need to know that almost everything typed into public AI models gets stored on remote servers to train future models, right? If your child types in their full name, school name, home address, or personal family secrets, that data is out there in the digital ether.
Yep. Yep. So how do we balance these incredible benefits with these very real risks? You don't need a degree in computer science to keep the household safe. You just need a clear, consistent family norms.
Yeah, we put together 5 rules for family AI that can
Yep.
introduce you at dinner tonight. Let's walk through them.
Sure. So rule one, solve it yourself first. Before your child opens the AI app for homework, they must spend at least 10 minutes attempting the problem themselves, writing out the draft or outlining the idea on their own.
I love this. It kind of forces the brain to engage first, right?
Yep.
AI is brought in as a reviewer or tutor after the initial effort as never but never as the starting point. And I've done this as well. You come with a short document or
Yep.
something, and it doesn't sound right. It's not professional. It doesn't sound like something you can put out there. You
Yep.
take it, you upload it into AI and say, spit out something more professional, more formal, more concise, and it'll clean it up for you.
Yep. So let's go on to rule number two, prompt to understanding, not answers. So teach your kids to ask the right questions. For example, Brad prompt would be write my 500-word essay on the American Revolution. A good prompt would I say act as a history tutor, give me three main causes of the American Revolution, ask me questions to test my understanding. Much better.
That single shift alone can transform AI from a checking mechanism into a 24/7 personal coach.
Yep, that's right. So let's move on to rule number three: trust, trust but verify.
Mhm,
Establish a baseline rule in your house. Never cite AI as your primary resource. Every factual claim, date, or statistic provided by an AI tool must be cross-referenced with a trusted textbook. Good old encyclopedias, I guess, back in the day.
mhm, mhm.
A reputable website or a verified library source. So just go double
We
check what you're talking about.
and look, even as adults, we're all guilty of this, right? Even
Yep,
now, we call them Professor and Doctor Google,
yep,
right?
that's funny.
We want to know something. Oh, the answer is right here at our fingertips, right? So, rule number 4: keep personal stuff personal. This
Yep.
one's a big one. Sit down with your child and create a list of never share items on AI prompts.
Hmm.
Full legal names, home address or school name,
Yep.
passwords, and definitely not financial details or any
Yep.
personal photos or private family secrets.
Right.
We want to keep this stuff from being out there online.
Yep. That's right. So let's move on to rule number five: protect real world relationships. No matter how advanced technology gets, human development relies on face to face interaction, physical movement, and real world connection. So set unbreakable screen time anchors in your home. So no devices at the dinner table, which is pretty common, and it should be. No tech in bedrooms after 9. That can be difficult with kids with their phones. So I'm charging my phone up. It's like, hey, I got to turn it off. Or you can buy apps now that will actually shut everything down. So
Mm.
it's different, another way of getting around it, right? Make sure the kids stay honest. Dedicate time every weekend for outdoor play, sports, board games, or family meals that are all together, right?
Absolutely.
So the
Let's
whole
not forget
family.
these ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we used to do them with our family all the time, and even
Hmm.
that was still we still don't have as much as we used to. So I like that one.
Yep. It's good.
Those 5 rules give you an incredible foundation. So I love that. Thank you for that
Yep.
for that. Now, if you want to make AI fun and educational rather than stressful, here's a weekend activity you can try with your kids: the Family Vacation Planner Challenge.
Yep. So this is a blast. Sit down with your kids on Saturday and tell them we're going to plan an imaginary or real weekend trip to wherever it may be. For this example, let's use Chicago with a $500 budget. So open an AI tool together. Have your kids prompt it to find free attractions, budget-friendly hotels, and local food spots. Take the itinerary generated by AI, pull up Google Maps and real booking websites, and verify the prices and distance are actually accurate.
Mhm. And I'm going to put a disclaimer on this one. If you do create a vacation, I recommend you create a real one that you're going to take, because the minute your kids get all excited about this vacation that they're planning,
Mhm.
if they don't take the vacation, there's going to be heck to pay, right? So be careful
Sure.
with that one. Maybe if you're going, if it, it's only pretend, it's only imaginary vacation. We're not actually going on vacation. Maybe state that up
Right
front,
on.
right?
Yeah, for sure,
Um,
RJ.
So, but doing so like teaches them research skills, right? Financial
Yep.
literacy, prompting, engineering, and critical thinking, all wrapped into a family game.
Yep, that's true. Because it's kind of funny. I mentioned this that we were on holidays last week with the family, and we actually used one of the AI models to plan some of the stuff, and it was okay. Some stuff was wrong, some was okay. Some was found others thing was kind of interesting, and obviously we Googled it and looked it up, and we're actually down there. It was fine, so it was
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
And my favorite is always to do meal planning and pricing for food. It was some of it was quite wrong for the pricing of
Yeah,
the food. It was a bit
yeah,
old, right? Like,
I've
yeah,
seen that.
this modern
Yeah.
day pricing for groceries is a little bit higher than what AI believes it is. But there's apps out there that can help, which is cool. So at the end of the day, parents, remember this. The future doesn't belong to your kids who rely on AI for every answer. The future belongs to children who know how to think critically, ask great questions, and retain their core human empathy.
Hmm. You don't have to fear this technology, right? And you don't have to embrace it blindly either. Just guide your kids with curiosity, clear boundaries, and continuous open conversations.
Right on, guys. Well, thanks for being here today and supporting the Parent Support Circle podcast. If this episode helped you and gave you some inspiration, share it with a friend. Also, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can catch every update we have. If you've got a great question or a story to share, leave a comment below or over on the Parent Support Circle Facebook page and drop your thoughts. Don't forget to share this with your fellow parent who could use a little extra support today.
Absolutely. And until next time, parents, keep showing up, keep learning, and remember, you don't have to parent alone. Not
That's
only
right,
are
guys.
we there for you, but your friends are a valuable resource as well.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. And if you guys want a 25 questions to ask, there's a little thing down below. Go to parentsupportcircle.com, 25 questions dash page. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you then.